Hello, my friend. Hello.
Morning.
Just called to let you know.
Yeah, I'm not as white today because it's cloudy outside.
Is it cloudy today over there in
Yeah, it's a little rainy.
Hawaii?
I like it when it rains. I was getting a transmission this morning. It was raining so hard.
Ah,
Like I felt like, I don't know, sprinkles of energy or something.
yeah, yeah.
Crazy. Sky
Yeah.
energy.
Yes, yes. And triple yes.
How does it feel to be free?
I'm free?
Opie was telling me you got like falsely imprisoned a couple days ago or something.
Oh,
That's pretty
detained.
crazy.
Yeah.
Well, you
Somebody
have
called.
that kind of look, you have that like, hey, this guy's, watch out for this guy.
Yeah.
See a
I
tattoo
know.
on your neck.
I know. Why? Why do I look like that?
I'm just kidding. Hey, we have button stuff on now. Right.
I don't know. Well, I had a walkie-talkie and there was somebody walking around with a gun. And I had a walkie-talkie on, and maybe they thought that I was the person with the gun because of the
Oh
walkie-talkie.
yeah. Yeah. Well, everybody's tense right now, right? Everybody's on high alert, so pretty crazy times.
Yes, but they found the guy with the gun. So,
That's good.
oh my,
I got to give me some new glasses. These things, I lost my other ones, and these like they put pressure on my temples, and they're not quite the right level. So I have to kind of be in between to see. It's like I can see you from over here pretty good, blurry, and then anyways, these are the small things. You talk about the outer distractions. I had a good week on that. I really was distracted by a lot of stuff. And
what was going on?
yeah, well, just basically not having my stuff together, my shit together. And so much sort of like, I don't know, the more stuff comes up from inside, the more crap comes out.
Okay.
It sort of drifts around me and hovers around me. And I get sort of pulled back into it a little bit. So I really was reflecting on what you talked about as far as like having the foundation of like doing the fives, like for instance, and doing the practice and letting that sort of be the root of everything, and having all
Yeah.
the other stuff basically can just be sort of little branches off of it instead of having it pretty much the opposite, being sort of governed by all these little branches and chaos and stuff and worries and this and that. And then because I could really feel that the sort of root underneath it, I could feel it. I could feel like this, oh, okay, there's this calmness, this peace, and it really needs a chance to grow. It feels like, you know, what a wonderful thing that would be. you know, I feel the potential basically, and recognize that I'm still a long way away. you know,
Yeah.
but I'm not beating myself up about it. I take my notes. Um, I got a note to get my sticky notes because I need to hang those up because I'm like,
Oh,
where's my notes? He had me around me write some notes, and I saw my paper. I'm like, I need my sticky notes. Where are they? Because I rely on like my mind so much. I think I can just remember everything, but the reality is that's whatever that is, ego or stubbornness, laziness, ignorance, whatever. So hey,
yeah. Once you have a principle, you got to chisel it in stone. What's the principle that you've got to get? I don't know. Maybe it's a 10-second breathing exercise. Maybe it's put the hands here. Maybe it's that the inner world's more important than the outer. The whole idea of what I'm trying to learn is that we're on a journey, and there are these GPS coordinates that happen on your my favorites list. And those GPS coordinates really need to be kind of chiseled in stone. So if you put the postmark up there, then you can respond to it. And the postmark itself, it looks like a silly thing. Oh, I'm going to focus on this one thing right now. And it looks like it's just silly because you want to be observing everything and in your flow. You don't want to separate from the flow of reality and focus on the note and do the 10 seconds. But that's training. And there's no skill without training and endless repetition. So I just know the same things. I just say a lot of the same things all the time.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
So would you consider that to be the discipline, so to speak?
Yes. Yes.
Because it seems like, I feel like, I don't know, I heard somebody speak about discipline, and they're saying we already actually have discipline. I'm disciplined to be drawn into all this outer crap every day. I'm very disciplined. I'm always getting drawn into the outer crap. So for me to sort of have this, oh, I don't know about discipline, it's not actually accurate. It's just more ignorance. So it's like, because I produced a bunch of stuff through discipline, it's just, I produced a stiff neck. I produced a crowded house full of stuff. I produced this and that.
By
So
the way, Andre and I both are taking on your stiff neck, so you both owe us. Because now Andre is like, what's the matter? What's the matter with your neck? And she's like, I feel it too. And I said, that's Anthony's fault. You can tell him. So me and Andre are both sucking this bad stuff out of your neck.
Well, that's good because you can flow it through, right? You got a good flow, so pull it out, flow it out.
Then Andre said, what do I do with it now? Because we just trained for 3 hours. And I said, give it to the tree, give it to the tree. She said, okay.
Nice. Yeah, I've had a lot of evidence of old stuck patterns lately. Like a lot. Like there's more stuck patterns than I actually realized, just because I
realize that the stuck patterns of every person in the entire world are your stuck patterns.
Yeah.
I mean,
it feels like arrogant.
As an intellectual reality, I can say that it's obvious that that's true, that every disease and every stuck pattern is actually mine.
Yeah.
My fault, or I'm part of it. I'm a contributor to that negative reality of mankind, humankind.
Yeah, that makes sense. I've been hearing this voice is like telling me about responsibility.
Oh, cool. What's that saying?
Well, it's time to take responsibility for what I do every day. Like I have an opportunity, not in sort of an arrogant, I can do it or look at me kind of a way, but more in a receiving a gift that, I've been sort of wasting kind of a way,
Beautiful.
Life's a gift.
Where a lot of that is?
Where?
Duty.
Duty?
Mm-hmm. A great saint one time said, prize duty above holiness. I never knew what he meant for the longest time. I do now. For you to make sure that bill is paid, for you to make sure that you don't have a temper tantrum, for you to make sure that you clean your ass and the cabinet. Just simple things that are supposed to be these dutiful principles that you're going by. That's actually, in a sense, more important than anything, because you actually don't have a self unless you do a lot of those non-cognitive obedience duties.
And you're talking about, is that, say, the true self, not or like the spiritual self, you're saying? Not the ego self, I suppose.
Whatever's categorically a duty would be the spiritual self. And enlightenment and healing relates way more to that than anybody understands, including me. Just to actually do what you're supposed to do and fulfill your responsibilities, not in a way just for outside gain, not in a way just to be like the Joneses or to fit in, but in a way of, I have to wipe my ass or it's not good for me. So there's lots of ass wiping things that you don't do. Organize the closet, clean underneath the bed. And it's kind of infinite. So the sense of duty, non-cognitive duty, becomes more the path of enlightenment than anything else after a while. And it's a great joy because you don't have to think about it. Now you have all these things you do that are a joy because you're just doing them. The grounding joy of duties. And duties is the same as responsibility. So if you have a responsibility voice, it's saying, hey, this is an opportunity. It's not like a duty in the negative sense. Now you start to change your tune in terms of, it's an opportunity for me to listen better, speak better, have better habits, something. There's always something, And somebody else might clean the closet and that might be awful for them. But if you clean the closet, it might be wonderful. So it's tough to say
Yeah.
about things exactly, but you can understand that there's certain things for you to do. Like I'm learning, it's really important for me to relax my neck.
Mm.
I'm learning that duty because of you. I kind of have no choice. Otherwise, I'm going to get a fucked up neck here pretty soon.
Mm.
So I have a responsibility to see what I look like maybe and see if I'm doing this because that's what I've been doing that. And so, we are infecting and blessing everybody,
Mm.
all of us. I have bad stuff and you're taking it on. You have bad stuff, I'm taking it on. What happens is that's what human bonding is. And you become then a quantum computer processor. You're connected with everyone. And so now you've got the power of everyone. Because if you don't deny the suffering of the person in front of you and you actually take it on, then you have access to all of their blessings too.
Mm.
But if you try to be separate from Opie all the time or whoever and only control or get your separated place, then it's not going to work. You have to blend with the forces. And to blend with the forces, you're going to have to loosen up.
Mm.
And then it tells you, sweep the floor. And you go sweep the floor. Your mind is not part of it much after a while.
It's like a place of appreciation for whatever. Is to me, I can feel it now because I have this emotion of poor me, like a sadness. Why do I have to do this? Why do I have to stretch, or why do I have to eat a different way? I can't just eat whatever,
Yeah.
why, poor me, victim,
Yep.
even though I don't outwardly sort of reflect it. That's like an inside thing, and it's not, doesn't feel good that that's inside, right? Because we're talking about the inside a lot. So it's something I'm aware of. I've been getting these awarenesses, and I'm grateful for you to help
Oh,
me.
the great guru, William Martino.
Yeah. Help me.
Moses, Jesus, Moses, I mean, Moses, Buddha, Jesus, William. It's just a straight lineage. It goes right
Nice.
in one line, unbroken lineage.
Uh, that's cool.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
like
It's a pleasure to be of service.
yeah, I'm having fun. It feels like things are switching into it's like responsibility, and yet it's don't take yourself so seriously that you're basically binding yourself into this like block structure. Oh, what happened?
Watermelon. You're way more involved with difficulties than you are involved with some great solution. That's enlightenment. So there's no use getting too excited.
So you can be serious and relaxed at the same time, or
Yeah,
focused.
yeah. And always have that little spice of having no idea and having more
Yeah.
problems than you could ever solve. So forget it. You're hopeless. And being in connection with God to a degree that have nothing to do with your problems. So you're already enlightened. Having a little spice of reality there. And the reality of the negative is beyond you. You're not going to heal all the problems of you or anybody else. It's
Mm-hmm.
impossible. The reality of the positive is you're so wonderful, it's silly. You're never going to realize how wonderful you are. But you could go in the direction of realizing some of these negatives you're not facing and go in the direction of realize some of these positives that you're not facing and then have a moment of transcendence beyond negative and positive where you're looking at the lake and you're having fun. And then you come back in your body like, I'm going to loosen my neck up, whatever I can. Whether I'm being crunched into death or not, I'm going to give some application into my body. And with that, with those cycles, you never know. But you're just supposed to do that because it's a duty. It's
Yeah.
not like because you're going to heal yourself of a stiff neck or something.
Yeah.
You have plenty of opportunity with your mind and your consciousness and your spirit, even without a body. So
Yeah.
you can't be attached to anything. You just got to be like, I'm going to sweep the floor because that's what I have to do.
Mm. Yeah, it's interesting because when you say that, I feel how I have a tendency, like even when you're speaking, But no, I want to create an edge, a border for everything. So if there's like a negative thing, it has to a beginning, a middle, and an end. You know, even a positive thing. Oh, it's like there's got to be like a border to it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's the beauty of being a strong man, because you got to make a point. You got to make a conclusion. Well, in this broadness that I just gave, there's conclusions. There's specific conclusions. So if you overly try to conclude in quantum physics, the point, the particle,
Mm-hmm.
then you can't see reality. If you overly become general about things, wishy-washy maybe, then you don't ever make a point that's a total defined edge, then you're delusional. So it moves in cycles is the understanding.
Mm.
You go from the point to the wave, from the particle to the wave. Meaning that you have these understandings and you have all of these things that you want to put in boxes, clarify, make a specific understanding, how you're going to do this, how you're going to go forward, what's your life for. And then you've got the spinning of the records and you relax and whatever. So you got to do both, night and day, sleep and wake. That's an affront to some, if you always want to have the particle. If I say you got to do both, then you're like, fuck you, I want the conclusion. I don't want, I've got to do both, and it works in cycles. But that's the hard reality of life, is that you're not healed, you don't understand, you need help, you need guidance. So what are you going to do with that? You're going to make a conclusion with that? You can't. It's in process. And then the other thing is, I know how to spin records. I know I like samosas. I know, whatever. You got a bunch of different things that are clear particles of understanding. So in quantum physics, when you don't look, it's the wave. When you look, it's the particle. So if you're attached to the particle, then you're going to lose the mystery. Because the mystery is superimposition. It means there's all kinds of possibilities. It's trust of a child.
Is that why you reiterate that you don't know anything? So you're sort of open?
It's true. Yeah.
So you're open to it. Because as soon as you say, well, I know everything, then you just shut the door.
That's what everybody does. That's the problem of the human mind, is that you have to have a conclusion. You have to have a product. You buy this soap and your whole life's going to be fixed. You take a vacation to Hawaii and everything's going to be wonderful. And then you're in Hawaii and you say it's the same thing as anywhere. But back and forth, you have this delusion, we all do, that over there, some conclusion is what we're looking for. And I'm saying to you that the conclusion is that there's no conclusion, and that your solution is that you don't have a solution, and that you're not going to get one either. Not that I know of. And then you're closer to being a genius, having solutions, creating results, because now it just flows like a child learning a language. It's not you doing anything. You're just part of the life streams of environment. And so you naturally have more energy.
So that explains the feeling I get when I see Ama or those great spiritual teachers, when they're just such at peace.
Yeah.
They don't feel, I mean, I don't know anything, but the sense that they're not focused on any conclusion. They're just like love sort of exuding itself, and they're at peace. Because I feel peace. When you describe what you just described, I feel peace. I sense, I don't know where it's coming from. There's just some peace I feel, like some sort of understanding that's beyond me, that's already part of me, that maybe what you're talking about is practicing that.
I sure hope so. You said it better than I do. That's why I teach. They teach because they do not know. People say things and I'm like, wow, that's so cool. And then I'm like, wait a minute, I thought that. But it's like I'm hearing it for the first time. So that's the particle. The particle is what you just said. I know that when I get the feeling of darshan, that's it. That's the best chance I have for healing my neck. There's not a better chance. There does not exist a better chance than that. If you think about anything that's helped your mind and body, I would hope that you're clear that experience heals your mind and body more than anything else, more than anything known. more than any experience. Now you have a particle. You have a picture in time. The picture in time is said that peace of mind works. All right, so those are a bunch of words that relate to a circumstance. And those bunch of words, if you say them again to yourself, you write them down and you become like a true student, which is completely following what works for you. That's the path that's for an individual, the path that works for them. So now you can have faith in it. And if you write down that peace of mind heals me better than anything I ever did or experienced, and there's better potential for me to heal my body in that than anything else, basically, you know. Now that's a principle that's going to map you back to that experience again, because you're going to forget in 2 minutes. But if you have this book, this Bible, and you read those words, then you're going to start to explore. Who is St. Francis of Assisi? Who's Drabwang Rinpoche? Andre and I just did 3 hours on that right before you, that 1 minute break. Well, actually, I eked out 1 minute break by being late, right? But 3 hours on who's the real masters. And so it'll be a video up there soon on my YouTube channel. We talked about who's the guru of the Beatles and who's this one and that one. I didn't put Amachi on, which is funny. I don't know why. Who's the founder of Zen? Who's the master Gu, my Wudang Qigong master in China? And we put on the little video and I talk, and then before you know it, the thoughts are gone and we're meditating. So there's 4 or 5 different people. Who's the greatest master according to the Dalai Lama, whom the Dalai Lama said is the greatest living meditation master? Why is it important? Put words around it. So you want to gain a whole structural understanding like a Bible that delivers to you words that you can map back to the feeling, like those words you just wrote down.
I haven't been writing them down. I've had just like, I realize now when I reflect that since we first wrote that list of the favorites list, it's probably quadrupled in expansion. Like just
well, you have to have the list, please.
Yeah. That's why I'm adding to the list now. I got my little folder here. I got the list. I start adding to it. Get my sticky notes. So just grow that list then, right? Is that what you're saying?
Totally, because we're so quickly bored. We got to find a new tree and a new flower and a new walk. We're just completely frenetic and erratic. So if you don't get something new and different, it's not going to work. But then over the years, you're going to find out that the great-grandfather memory, I could remember it 1,000 times over the next year, and it's going to work every time. So you have classics and you have new and different. And you need both of them. As you continue to work on it with the new and different, you'll establish certain classics. And now you're closer in your daily life to getting that feeling because you've got established classics building. We only know of the great-grandfather one. Let's see if we can find another one. What's another one?
Can we lean on those in a way then? Like say,
totally lean on.
I'm like, oh, yeah, wait a minute. Take 10 seconds. I see your grandfather. I see your rose garden. And just sort of, whew. But it seems like I've been sort of doing, or it's been doing that to me. I haven't really been doing it. It's like the transmission comes to me when I need it the most. Because I feel the tension build up, right? And I can feel that tension is definitely part of the chaotic attachment to the outside, or that finding that box where I got to get to there. Why aren't I there? Ugh. You know, but yeah, the ocean, the mountains, I went hiking. Being in nature is a big one for me. Just being around nature, birds, animals, that's a big transmission point.
What's the best animal you ever saw in your whole life?
The best animal I ever saw in my whole life, I'd say live in person, was an owl standing on the side of the road.
So
I couldn't believe it.
On the list, owl standing on the side of the road. You see, you have magic and miracles in you and you don't know it. Or at least that's the game I want to play in talking to you. Because I always want to understand how I'm not enlightened and how I don't understand. That's what I want to do. Because I'm not worried about how I'm enlightened or how I'm intelligent or how I'm good looking or how I'm, I don't want to worry about all these things. I already have that, whatever it is that's genuine. But what I don't have is how I'm ignorant, how I look goofy, how I look like a thug, how whatever.
Hmm.
These things I want to fix. So to do that, I have to be aware of them. The same way with the scribbles map is classic problems. Neck, that's a classic one. Not going
Yeah.
anywhere, right? That we know
Yeah.
of. So that's a classic.
And then one big one for me is not feeling good enough for my stepdad calling me stupid.
Yeah, my
I would
dad.
make a mistake. He'd call me stupid. And then even if I knew the right thing to give him, I would grab the wrong thing. I don't know why.
Oh, huh.
It was some
Interesting.
sort of, and I still have that kind of like, even
All
if I
right, so
know.
write that down because on the other side of the paper is the scribbles map.
Yeah.
So that's a big one. Being called stupid and doing something rebelliously because of that. Doing the opposite of what's required of you or what's good.
Is that what that was? Being rebellious? Like, F you. All right, here, you get it yourself. It only ended up in me getting called even more stupid, though, but yelled at.
Ow.
uh, yeah, there's a lot of past stuff. Just past, the past, the past, the past, the past. It's like it's I don't know. It's so difficult to sort of let it go. Like it's
What's
like,
a
come on,
past thing?
huh?
What's a past thing?
Well, the past thing is just like in any sort of situation where I didn't speak up or to stick up for myself or where I had that really the feeling, that transmission in me. I felt the love to protect that person, to serve, and yet the peer pressure, oh, don't do it because it won't be the popular thing, or I'll get hurt, or I don't really want to hurt somebody.
All right, being bullied and allowing bullies.
Yeah,
Write that
like you're
down.
right. You know. I mean, I feel like because of that, I could very easily get a machine gun and just go on a spree because you recognize that pretty well.
So write down and yeah.
And the realization too, which got me later in life, was that I was actually always pretty fit and strong and quick and agile, and I had the power to do it. But then, I injured my neck, and then now that power was gone. I'm like, that really messed with me. To
Okay, so
realize that you
failed
were there the whole
opportunity.
time.
I'm a failure,
Yeah, or I didn't live up to a potential that was there.
which is totally true.
Yeah,
That's the problem with, then your new age, your teacher will say, oh, no, that's fine. It's in the past, everything. No, it's true. You didn't do what you were supposed to do.
mm,
You got into this place where you got injured.
yeah,
Now it's lost time.
mm,
But that has nothing to do with your choices right now.
yeah,
So you can escape being responsible again by going over this stuff and blaming others and talking about others and stuff. Or you can use that rocket fuel and say, I only need to do 10 seconds of responsibility. I've got 5,000 years to figure this out. There's no rush.
mm,
I'm not going to become immortal and my body's going to die no matter what I do with my neck. So who you are is your consciousness. Like you said at the beginning, you're free now. Who you are is in your consciousness and you're free. That freedom is boundless in space. It's boundless with nature. So how do you connect to that and make that place in nature that's favorite for you become part of your physiology, to engraft yourself into nature? Babaji.
it feels like nature itself, or the transmission itself, uh, is calling to dissolve this crap, to put it one way. Because I can sense the power of that compared to all the crap. Even though the crap is stuck in me, it it feels like superficial in a way. Like I've made something so superficial so powerful, and it took me over. It's almost like I had a vision last night where I have a hedge over here, and it's a beautiful yellow hibiscus flower, right? And there's these vines that grow around it, and they grow, and I just ignore it, and then finally, oh no, where's the flowers? They took over they choked the hedge
Yeah.
out. So
Yeah.
I had my friend go, he pulled the vines, we stripped the vines off of it. And then the next day there was a flower. 3 days later, the whole thing just bloomed yellow flowers. It was so
Wow.
happy. Yeah.
All
So
right, please write that down. Vines and flowers metaphor. Write down vines and flowers metaphor. Everything that we're doing is to become more nourished, like getting a massage, more relaxed, more still. So that metaphor is perfect for you when you go into your meditation time, because it relates to all sorts of stuff to do with your mind and your energy. But when you did it, when you took action to pull the weeds, it was just wonderful what happened. New energy. So you have all kinds of trapped energy in your body and mind. And if you could just clean it out, the new energy is going to happen. That could be miraculous. So that's a good thing for you. You want to be independent, independent and alone and sovereign. Nobody has anything to say. Nobody has anything that they know. You just want to be independent and sovereign. And on your My Favorites list, you say, oh, I like this William for now. Okay. So I'm on the list. And then whatever else for now. So it's all about you. You're sovereign. Nobody has any power here but you. That's what you know. And if you do that, then you can live and die in peace. And you die before you die. Now you really know how to die. Then tremendous power comes through your body because of the freedom. And that tremendous power is yours to actualize. And it doesn't relate to whether another person gains or loses or anything. You have to let other people win or lose. It doesn't matter. You're busy with your thing. It doesn't matter what the heck they're doing. I mean, you might have to work with what they're doing because you live with them or whatever. But you're on your own path and it's alone. From that aloneness, you can then really connect with whoever in a better way to make more happiness happen, genuine happiness on the inside.
just cut the string of attachment. I feel how I'm like attached. Like when you say that, it's funny because when you say certain things, I get this weird senses. It's like you're a transmission. When you speak the truth of what you believe, that is a transmission right here in the moment.
Yep. And so are you when you tell me about the grandfather. See, great grandfather. That's an amazing transmission for me, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you get the transmission and you emit the transmission, both. Getting the transmission is an outside in sort of thing. You go and you reach outside of yourself, you latch onto something that's on the My Favorites list, and you take energy from it. And when you do that, then the environment gives you energy. The energy of nature and the environment comes to you. And you relax enough, you find the earth. You touch the earth with your mind. When you touch the earth with your mind, now you're talking empowerment. And then Upinder wants your attention 2 seconds later. Because there's a direct relationship between you gaining power and everything getting animated in the environment. But you can include Upinder in it while you're doing it, so that you both get healed. Her in her way, you in your way. But you have to be receptive to the nature and to the darshan as it comes to you to be able to receive it. If you're trying to hide your wrongs and distortions and problems and physical things and whatever, and just try to label it all, then you can't receive it. You'll notice that you're receptive when your body's heavy and you're touching the earth with your mind. You have this awareness of the earth.
So that sounds like a new way to live. Basically, it feels like the goal would be to live in darshan 100% of the time.
Yeah.
Like when you see, like when I see Amma, like she's like she's there, and that's where she is. She exists in transmission state,
Yeah.
receiving and giving simultaneously.
Yeah. Then when you're really established, then the giving and the receiving, it just all is at the same time. But as human beings, we only last with that for so long when we're in the zone.
Yeah, uh,
When you
that's
spin
that.
records.
That's my mind saying, "Oh no, I should be Jesus again."
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, you should be, but we're not. So
Yeah.
if you try to battle that reality, then you're in a lot of trouble. But if you say I'm not, and you connect to Buddha, Jesus, Lao Tzu, Amaji, Bodhidharma, Nisargadatta Maharaj, Ramana Maharshi, Drabwang Rinpoche, you connect to that list, now you got power. All right, I'll make a list and put it out there for everybody.
So there's a lot of benefits in being the student.
Yeah, you should only be the student. You got to give up on being the teacher, otherwise you're really hopeless. Being the knower. You really just got to give up on being the knower and being the teacher, because it doesn't really work that way. It works as a water wheel. It doesn't work otherwise. So if you're a water wheel, then that means you're receptive to other people as the teacher and stuff.
That makes sense, because otherwise I feel like I'm on a treadmill that has a barrier on it, because I'm not really going anywhere. I just sort of butting my head against the wall everywhere I go, you know. But I'm on a treadmill, so time goes by, right? I get older, but I'm butting my head on, so it's just sort of really a. I can feel it as a stuck. I can really literally meditate. I feel that as a stuck, like ugh, I can't.
That's because you want to overtake the universe.
Mm,
You want to have enough power that the other person's receptive to you.
mm,
So your method of gaining that power is being separate.
mm.
And strategy is mine too, everybody. Strategizing to gain power so that when you speak, you'll be received. But the better idea is to honor the other person. Authentically honor the other person as Jesus, as the Savior. Then when you talk, it just talks and the other person receives you, and now you get to be the teacher. But it comes from the opposite of being the teacher. It comes from being the student. So to be the student means that when we go out to the store, when we go out to anywhere, there's this resolution that you're going to find a different way, a new and better way to accept this person and to let them in, and to have discernment, to keep them at arm's length too. But to have discernment to where, if they're a goofball in their behavior, which almost everybody is, then you have to have a natural boundary. But otherwise, it's good. You can really honor them for the good of who they are and what they're trying to do. And they just want to be big, and they just want to be heard, and they just want to be valued. So you could go in and you buy the groceries and you get back home, and that's it. You don't go there to take over the universe. You don't go over there to finally be respected, to finally be heard, to finally be acknowledged as someone special. That's what causes death. That's what causes disease. The addiction to that, because you can't handle being abandoned. No, you are abandoned. Nobody cares about you much. Nobody cares about me much. They're busy caring about themselves, trying to eat, or trying to have sex, trying to get money. That's their whole thing they're doing every day with their mind. Not who's Anthony, who's William.
Yeah. Yeah, I had my sponsor told me that when I was like, "Well, I'm worried about they're judging me. They're talking about me." He's like, just to be blunt, 99.9% of people could give a shit about you. They're thinking about their own stuff. You know what I mean?
And if they are, and sometimes they are, because you get in these things, if they are thinking about you, then you can use that attention, that critical analysis, to reinvent yourself again. That's the path of enlightenment.
Yeah, because what you just described, when I was a kid, I just felt this sensation when I was really young. I loved to learn. I was excited about school. Like what can I learn? I was really into math, and then at a certain point, with like the marijuana and the kind of laziness settled in, and then I moved to this new, then I became like this hustler adapter guy. Okay, I'm gonna outsmart you. You ain't gonna see what I feel. I'm gonna listen to what you're doing. I'm gonna manipulate
Uh-huh.
you. And you just described that. So that is like the stuck thing. That's yeah, you know.
Well, it's you. It's not like there's this one student, her Maggie. She has this big stomach problem. And, I told her the other day, you are your stomach.
Mm,
So it's not like this thing that you have to get out of you.
okay.
It's actually this thing that you have to accept that you are, that you're the murderer, you're the rapist, you're the drug addict, you're all these things. When you do that, then you won't do the behavior, but you'll still have a little respect for other people who do those things because you realize you could do those things.
Yeah. So that's the stuck list via then the favorite list. That's sort of that feels like the transmission creator kind of and dissolver
Yeah.
process to lead
Yeah.
you to the tens.
Yeah. The stuck list and the my favorites list circle together to have 10 seconds of relief.
That 10 seconds can be incredible. It's interesting how it sounds like, oh, it's only 10 seconds, and yet in the world that I've grown up with, just to get to that 10 seconds is like a miracle.
Yep. That's why it's 10 seconds because you can do it
Mm.
and everything can change in a moment. So you got a lot of time in there.
Yeah. And when you say that, I've reflected on what does things change in a moment. And then my favorites list is examples. Me and my dad, one time, we went to look at the surf and it was all stormy and gnarly and it was all crazy looking at sunset. And then in the morning, I was supposed to drive to my friends and go surf on the other side, and my car wouldn't start, right? So me and my dad's like, let's go look at the same spot. Maybe, never know. And it's one of my favorites. It's right on the top of my favorites list. We turn the corner, golden sunshine, perfect, beautiful waves just peeling, no one around. It was like God was right there saying hello.
You
And
write that down, the name of that place?
I'll never forget it because I've never seen it like that
No,
ever
you have
since.
to write it down because you're going to forget it 10 seconds from now. You're not going to never forget it. You're going to forget it in 3 seconds. You'll have no memory of it and you might not remember it again for a year unless you write it down and you look at it. That's why scriptures are created. That's why when they're starting to build a car, they create this schematic, and then all of a sudden they have the schematic put into a computer, and this bolt goes there, and this bolt goes there, and this screw goes here, and I mean back and forth, back and forth. Now you have an automated way to build a car, but unless it was cognized, codified,
Mhm.
and programmed in the computer, it would never really. Not one person's not going to remember that. So you
Doesn't
can
get this.
remember that now by there, and you look at over the years, my favorites list is going to get bigger. So that's
Nice.
a feeling. It's a way for you to get the feeling, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the feeling is what we're trying to get. We're trying to go
So,
from thinking to feeling.
so over time, we developed it just embodies itself in us over
Yeah.
the repetition.
Yes.
So that feeling becomes like more of a state that I am instead of just a little splinter here and there, right? That was meant to be a question. I've been accused of giving statements to my teachers, so I
Oh,
apologize.
that's a true statement. And as a question, the answer is yes. Okay, let's breathe 20 breaths, really long breaths. This is whom the Dalai Lama said is the greatest living meditation master. So when you get the feeling from this person, you can use the mantra to get the feeling again.
Mani veme hum, 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 mani veme 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 mani padme hum, 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 mani padme hum,
Om mani padme hum. 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 Om mani padme hum.
mani padme hum,
Om mani padme hum. Om mani padme hum. Mani padme hum. Om mani padme hum. Om mani padme hum. Om mani padme hum.
mani padme hum, mani padme hum, mani padme hum, mani padme hum, mani padme hum,
Om mani padme hum. 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 Om mani padme hum.
mani padme hum, 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 mani padme hum,
Om mani padme hum. Om mani padme hum. Om mani padme hum. Om mani padme hum.
mani padme hum, mani padme hum, mani padme hum,
Om mani padme hum.
mani padme hum,
Om mani padme hum.
mani padme hum, mani padme hum, mani padme hum, mani padme hum, mani padme hum,
Om mani padme hum.
mani padme hum.
That's very similar to the Qigong flow when you go Om Ah Hum. Similar sounds. So that person, his name is Drubwang Rinpoche, and he's whom the Dalai Lama said is the greatest living meditation master. Lived in a cave 30 years, never goes to sleep, sitting in a box 24 hours a day, one tablespoon of food once per week, 30-degree below weather, too high for the Chinese ever to go up there. So there's certain people that have this extreme rejuvenation and system management and marrow producing ability from their mind to their body. And these are the folks that produce darshan, the field of energy that you can lock onto and get a benefit from. That's the Amachi and this one. And write this movie down, Brother, Sun, Sister, Moon. You ever see that? You saw Way of the Peaceful Warrior?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you see Celestine Prophecy?
Yeah. Yeah. Been a while, but yeah, we're searching in a jungle for the next prophecy and that.
Next Scroll?
I read the book and I think we watched the movie, not that. What was it? Brother, what? The movie?
Brother, Sun, Sister, Moon. Let's see.
It's funny because you asked me if I saw a movie, and this little voice said you saw it, but did you receive the transmission? Like, seeing the same thing in a different part of my life,
Okay.
Good
I
idea.
think you have to watch these movies, like hundreds of times or something. I know I have, because the transmission exists in only so many options. You only have so many sages and saints and stuff that you have access to, the internet and voice and word and imagination. Same thing with the movie. There's only so many movies that will really produce that darshan. And I think that don't have the belief of watching Way of the Peaceful Warrior once, for example. That doesn't work. You got to watch it so many times. Or the original Kung Fu TV series.
Oh yeah, I love that show.
All right, I'll give you the whole series here. How's that sound? Let's see. Om Mane Padme Hum. 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 Om. Oh, I'll let you see the screen. Om Mane Padme Hum. Om Mane Padme Hum. Om Mane Padme Hum. Share screen. This one. And now, you see these? Plastic Guru movies. You want that one? Let's do that one. Om Mane Padme Hum. Om Mane Padme Hum. Om Mane Padme Hum. Om Mane Padme Hum. What is your email?
Let's go to DJ Soul Rider.
Okay.
Email, yeah. That's it. That's the less crowded one. I got like 7,000 I need to erase on the other one, so it's easier for me to spot it.
Okay. There is Guru movies. Ooh, what happened? Okay, and then great movies 1 and required watching. DJ Soul Rada and this one. Now let's find Kung Fu. Where's that? Don't know.
I always loved Kung Fu. I've probably seen that series like 4 times in my life. That was one of my favorite ones. Yeah. Kwai Chain King, right?
Yes.
He was so slow. He was definitely not headbutting energy. He was definitely
Om Mane Padme Hum. Om Mane Padme Hum. I don't know where it is. Let's see.
It was cool how he always had that flashback to his master's teaching. Yeah. I like that part.
Yes. This one. Aha.
Aha. Hey, you have Dirty Harry on there, huh? Nice.
Let's see. Season 2. Kung Fu Season 1, Kung Fu Season 2, Kung Fu Season 3. Oh, and watch Lost Horizon together with Opie this week, okay?
All right.
And here we go. Share. I think I'll share all three. You better look in your email, see if this works.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I think so. Oh, does it have Lost Horizon? Yeah. Oh, where's Kung Fu Season 3? I don't see that. Well, see if you get Kung Fu Season 1, 2, 3, and Lost Horizon. And then Lost Horizon is for tonight's movie viewing or whenever. Om Mane Padme Hum. Om Mane Padme Hum.
Yep, I got them all.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a question about the breathing. I'm curious. When I breathe deep after like 3 or 4 breaths, when I exhale, I get this gnarly like lock in my solar plexus diaphragm area, and I have to like take a few kind of like emergency breaths almost, and to regain that. Is that just simply a stuck area?
Uh, Explain it to me a little better, a little
Well,
more.
I'm breathing it deep after about the 3rd time. When I exhale, it
Okay.
comes down, and then right here, it's like almost like a cramp. It's like I have to give in and breathe a couple shallow breaths, otherwise it feels like I'm gonna like suffocate or something.
Huh.
Yeah,
That's in the second step.
yeah. Once I start doing the deeper breaths after about 3rd, 4th deep expanding breath, when I exhale, I just get a shortness of breath and like right in the diaphragm, like solar plexus area, and I can't sustain just a straight breath unless I take some shallow breaths.
Okay.
Is that just like a physical, just tension maybe in there or something? Or what should I do when it happens? That's my question.
The idea is to naturally slow your breathing down. So, what can you connect with that will naturally slow your breathing down? Do you know that answer by any chance?
Nature.
Okay. What are 3 nature spots from your early childhood that would work?
Okay. The same one, Rock Quarry, where those golden ways were. Now, do they have to be here, or can I meditate on them from somewhere else I was?
No, from your childhood.
Okay. It could be anywhere. All right.
Yes.
Two beaches and one mountain. Huh.
Okay. Now let's do 10 deep breaths and contract your stomach muscles on purpose.
Okay.
Keep going until you hit 10.
Ooh.
Now, next 10 breaths, just relax and connect to one of those places in nature and begin to go to sleep with it, by it, like if you were laying there. In the second step, you've got the going to sleep breath. Very important. You're just going to sleep. The body's becoming heavier on the exhale, and the exhale is quicker than the inhale. Om. Om. Now in this stillness, you can see Opie, you can see your history, you can see the people in the community, you can see your mom, dad, sister, brother, but they're all not you. All of those energies is just, you think that it's you and it matters, but it doesn't matter. Surrender to everyone and everywhere and everything and begin to accept their healing influence, because everybody's desperately trying to heal you, but you're not listening. That's the great mantra. See, that's drop and pop. As soon as you get the miracle, then something happens. It's the same every time. So you know that already because you know the principle, and the principle is written down. Drop and pop Write that down afterwards. I'll remember. Now you know it's a principle, so you don't have to get your power taken when it's come from you. I mean, when you've been healed. You don't have to immediately, every time you get healed, have it taken from you. Because you know that's what's going to happen, is that they're going to try. So you manage it like managing a cat. You know that that's the deal. But you don't blame them because they're just starving people like you. And so they sense good energy and they want to eat it. Okay, great. But you're going to author a little bit of groundedness in your presence. So then people become self-responsible. They learn how to get the cheese rather than you just giving them the cheese or being a victim or something. So it's very, get Opie in here.
You can hear it bumping around, huh? Opie. William wants to talk to you.
What the hell are you doing in there?
He heard you.
Oh, you heard me?
Banging around.
I'm loading up the car.
Oh, you're getting ready to go sell them?
Well, I load up the car first, get the car all situated, then I start cooking, and in about 2 hours I'll be going to sell
Or
it.
you load up the car with the table and
Table, the signboard, sandwich board, the 2 big bins I have with supplies, chafing dishes, all that fun stuff.
so tonight or today is the sales day?
Today's the sales day. I get there around like 2 o'clock my time,
And
1:32.
you go, "Ah, la, 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 la." You-
It's right by the ocean. It's nice.
Yeah. It's such a blessing
And the
because
people are walking slow like in normal because it's Kauai.
yeah, people
They walk
walking
slow.
slow.
Nobody walks slow, you know, in the rest of the world.
People just come from the beach.
Lena walks slower than me. I thought I was the slowest walker in all creation. Like when I have students and we were going to walk. I used to teach them privately. Now I'm trying to get them all away from me, so I just do the internet. But when it
How's
was
it working so far?
doing good, so I don't see anybody really much anymore. But I'm just remembering it. But I used to be all the time like that. So we would walk together as part of the deal. Like I'd listen to a while and we would go for a walk. And I always noticed that they always want to fly. I'm like, okay, this is meditation time. So I like to walk carefully, like Kwai Chang Caine. Oh, that's a movie for tonight or tomorrow. You've got all the entire Kung Fu series and you've got the Lost Horizon movie.
Okay. Do you have it written down?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
And we would walk slow and I would walk slow and like that. And then I met Lena and Lena walks like this. I mean, you couldn't, with all your imagination, you couldn't believe it. So no matter how slow I walk, which would be like 1, 2, I'm like dragging her along with that pace.
Wow.
It's like beyond belief. So I don't know what that means. I'm very frightened. But anyway, so you got the mimosas?
Got the samosas. I have aloo gobi. I have
Mimosa or mimosa?
samosa.
Well, why don't you do mimosas?
I don't know if that's
Champagne
allowed.
and-
Champagne and orange juice. They could go good together, but they have been held like that before in the past.
And you got Indian dishes?
You have aloo gobi, which is cauliflower potato, and I have bengan partha, which is eggplant and potato.
Does Anthony have to pay for it?
Yeah.
Anthony does?
Oh, Anthony doesn't.
I'm free labor.
He's my guinea pig. He tests it out
Taste
to make
tester.
sure that the spice level isn't too much because I like high-end spice, but most people don't. So he gets to make sure it's tolerable.
And then you meditate. So you're going to be by the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
And this morning was meditate?
Yes.
All right. I'm happy now. I don't have to say anything. But you see, that produces superpower, right?
Yeah.
And then you go out there and sell 100 mimosas.
Yeah, and that's the plan. Just go. For me, I've always been in my heart. How do I say? I told one of my friends. We talk about being of service, and I'm like, I'm there to give. And I had one of my friends that I was training once. And she was like, so how much are we going to make? And this and that. I go, don't worry about that. Just your number one job is to have fun, be present, be with the people. Everything else just, she was like, you just totally blew my mind. Most people, all they care about is how much income is going to come in. I'm like, no, just, I really need you to be with the people as they're coming in. And I'm grateful I'm able to do that, you know, with them and being in nature. I love my office.
Guru Opi, Guru Anthony, Guru Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Opi Parabrahma Anthony, Tashmai Shri Guruve Namaha, Tashmai Shri Guruve Namaha, Tashmai Shri Guruve Namaha.
So off I go. I will leave you guys to it.
All right, beautiful.
Bye.
Bye.
Don't call me beautiful.
What?
Don't call him beautiful.
I thought he was calling me beautiful.
Okay, handsome.
Hey, not really. Old. Hey, old guy. So these two young guys, or one young guy, one young gal yesterday, we were chatting and everything. And I said, I'm just old now or something. And they said, no, you're not. And I said, that's the worst. When the young person says, no, you're not old. That's like worse than you say. Like a pat on the head. Yeah, sure. I'll be 54 next week, September 20th.
I just turned 51.
You did.
Yeah.
Hey, happy birthday. September? No.
30th of August.
Oh.
Yeah.
Let's see. So which one are you in the signs?
The one that thinks way too much and is critical, the Virgo. According to
Virgo.
According to whatever the astrologer people, whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, me neither.
I mean, I do have a critical mind for sure, and I do overthink a lot of stuff. And as you pointed out, a lot of people do, right?
I think everybody's attached that way.
Yeah. So I mean, I learned to use it as a tool now. You're giving me the dissolving factors here, the transmission practice.
All right. Please write down dissolving factors, transmission practice. So this is, like the path to enlightenment according to Anthony. See, because it's only the phrases that you come up with that are going to really work. Then you get a classic one. Maybe it came from somebody else. Maybe it didn't. But something will go in that classic category, like those two phrases you just said. And, if you keep building this in 1 month's time, you're going to open that book up one day and you're going to be like, what? Because almost everybody that teaches Qigong, meditation, enlightenment, trauma resolution, physical healing, it's all about the outside. It's not about healing yourself, really, that profoundly. To heal yourself profoundly, you need the two things of support and relief. So anyway, yeah. But to say the transmission, for example, is a better way to experience support than anything. You go to Louise Hay, you go to any kind of the classic healers, Barbara Brennan, where are you going to get it? So you're not going to get it as clearly as you understand. Whatever you said about transmission, the transmission practice. I mean, that is like more powerful of a phrase than you can find anywhere, because it's going to result in a list that can change brainwaves, breathing pattern, hormones, everything more profoundly than anything else you have access to. And then little by little, like you said, you become that vibe. You become more engrafted with that vibe. But the journey continues endlessly. But it's certainly true that you become more engrafted with that vibe. You become more familiar with it. And then what was the other thing you said? You said transmission practice and something.
I know it disappeared. I put down. It's a dissolving. Well, actually, I just transmission practice dissolving the disease. The word came to me. The dis-ease.
Okay.
Right? The outer. So the word dis-ease came to me. Dis-ease.
Remember, it's not an outer it's an inner.
I got it. Okay. So
it's not a against you with the other thing. That's what it looks like, but actually, it's you against yourself.
Well, interesting. You talked about Louise L. Hayes and stuff. It feels like now this transmission practice, and you told me like, don't focus on like the healing part. No. The body already knows how to heal. I just need to get out of the way, and that's what it feels like this transmission is doing, is getting my critical mind the one that wants the conclusion and know everything, and what about that? And, oh no,
Okay, write that down.
Yeah.
The one that wants to know everything, and what about that? And draw an arrow to the scribbles map. Draw an arrow to a stick person. And that stick person is where you have the opportunity to bring the transmission and dispel the illusion of know everything and what about that. You see, you have to make a system, and you're making it. The transmission practice, the scribbles map, the dispel the illusion, the know everything and what about that. So know everything and what about that makes you tense up when you say it where? Right side neck more than left. Okay.
Yeah.
What else? You have this whole thing, but you can't see yourself because the mind isn't quiet. So you can't make the map. You can't get the transmission because you can't concentrate. So how are you going to be able to concentrate? Two ways, pain and pleasure. Let's try to do the pleasure method. The pain method is you get ground into death and disease and distortion. And even after life does that to us, we still won't listen. So that's a problem. But we allow more pain.
Yeah, ain't that true?
Because that'll make us receptive.
Yeah, I just realized that the what about that is like a defense. Feels like a
Yeah.
block.
Write that down. What about that is the defense to not face yourself, to not tell the truth. And I love saying this way. Remember about the retarded? Who said that? I think you did. It always comes back to retarded. Once again, here it goes. That you are, in fact, retarded. If you don't have enough courage to admit that, any human being doesn't have enough courage to admit that, then they can't mature. Or we. Of course, I'm very much included. Well, I'm head tardo. That's why I teach. So if I don't have the courage to admit that and go and be an adult, to go beyond, oh, yeah, you talk like that, and why you? No, it's better to use the charged word. It's great because now you really can feel your tardoness. If you can't express your inner retard, then you can't be mature about what that might mean, about real feelings that you have inside yourself, about being incompetent, about being uncoordinated. If you're not able to accept such a harsh kind of a world, well, then you're not going to really become very masterful. Only the master can tell the truth that they're not the master. So when you say that, what about that? It's trying to not reveal your inner distortion or incompetence or disease, dis-ease. And so you scribble on your body when you get into that thing of what about that, and you become aware again.
You know what? The more I think about what about that, the more I feel it's actually compressing me. It's more than that. It's
you
compressing.
find where these references, you'll get healed, I think, as a reference. I mean, as a possibility, because this is rich. It's richness. When you make a direct correlation between your body crunching together and your mind saying, what about that? Even if none of that is true, the psychological implication and how it's going to change your hormones and your immune system response is profound. So when you do that, you now have a need and you must get help.
Okay, so I feel the same compression if somebody I sense is angry at me. Let's you write that down, because feeling anger towards me, whether it's real or not, I feel the same compression, even more intense, actually.
Well, then that's better then. That's a pattern that results in your healing better because you feel it with more emotional significance. So now you're a step closer to dropping the defense mechanisms and become 100% responsible that you interpret this self-crunching when somebody's angry at you or when you're angry at them. I know that's true for me.
So that could be part of the stuck list, that I can meditate on that and get into.
It has to be part of the stuck list because
dissolution here.
We're only going to become receptive through pain or through some kind of conscious acknowledgement, which is very pleasurable. Through negative pain or positive pain, we could say. Negative pain is the revealing of pain by force, by more bad circumstances. And positive pain is the revealing of pain by pleasure, by acknowledging, oh my God, I need to release this. Then the pain releases and it actually turns into pleasure. So the nectar of your healing is in your hidden pain, is in your hidden confusion. And the buttons that have caused that, somebody's angry at me, I'm angry at them. No, I know about this, I know about that. I'm so astonished. For years, I couldn't get it through my head that I have this extreme experience in life and monk and all that. And every single person knows more than me about Qigong and about meditation. So no matter what, I would try to teach, and then it like hit me like a ton of bricks. It was like, wait a minute. Every single person knows, even though I read 1,000 books, I know I don't know shit, but I did read 1,000 books, Monk 3 Traditions, Super School of Hard Knocks, all that. Even with all that, it's kind of like saying you have a mathematics question and you go to the math professor in the world that has the most credentials, and you don't listen to a word they say. I'll figure it out myself. Thanks. That's what I figured out about people. People don't do teaching. They don't get taught. And so I figured out, oh, wait a minute. I'm trying to prove to myself that I know something by convincing them. That's why I'm so much interested that they should listen to me. And now I understand that even with all my experience, I actually don't know shit. So if I create some listening on the other person, it's kind of like cream, and it's very honorific and it's very kind to me. But actually, I don't know that I deserve it. But from your standpoint or somebody else's standpoint, maybe I do deserve the respect because there's certain kind of mathematical things. 2 + 2 = 4. Oh, okay, I'll adopt that system. So that's what an expert is. And the pleasurable way of turning pain into pleasure is to acknowledge, yeah, I at the core of it, I don't have a solution here. I don't understand. And when you're relating it to physical healing, the things that you said there are just nectar. Because you related, like I related to my neck freezing up by trying to heal your neck. I related by kind of taking you into my body. I didn't know we were that close. Anyway, and then Andrea was getting it. So then now I have this reference loop, whether it's all in my head or, whatever, that I need to recognize that I'm doing that to myself. And by recognizing that I'm doing that to myself, my neck loosens up. And so I don't develop that same pattern of crunching my neck up, which is something in my family as well. My father.
Yeah. Well, I just realized that, especially when you said to acknowledge the pain, that is at the root, not acknowledging the pain. And then just ignoring the pain here, the pain of there. And then before you know it, I'm walking around, I can't even move.
I think that there's some profound psychological reality to that, even though a doctor would say, no, it's because you have arthritis in your bones and so forth. Yeah. But I believe as long as there's a possibility to have a psychological correlation to something that's physical, then you should pursue that. And then whatever scientific fact about something that's going on, that's fine too. But as far as I remember, I was talking to one of my father's best friends who was dying of cancer. And he was talking to me about making money at that point. Now, don't forget, they're all millionaires and super millionaires and all that. And he said to me, if I was doing what you were doing and not making money at it, I would get wise and stop it and try something else. So we were also talking about his cancer, and I was talking about how there's different things, and he wasn't hearing any of it. And I was saying, if I had cancer, I would be more interested in how people get healed than how there's no chance of me getting healed. Talking about 4th-stage cancer, and in stage 4 cancer, everybody says, that's it, you're dead. Yeah. But you type on the internet about anybody that's survived 4th-stage cancer, there's thousands and thousands of people, not more, that have reversed it. So I said to him, I would be more interested in what I can do. Now, if there's a scientific reality about I'm in this difficult circumstance, and, let's say my body's aging, I don't know it. I can't do anything about it. My penis is getting like this, pretty much like that now, or somewhere around there. And so I can't do anything about aging. Well, I'm more interested in, okay, that circumstance is there, But what can I do now? If I had a physical neck problem like that or whatever, like you have, I would be interested in how can I change my hormones? How can I change my breathing pattern? How can I change my brain chemistry as a number one priority of my life?
Mm.
Because I don't want to be all stiffened up. So I would forsake everything. I would forsake my life. I think I would do that. I kind of do it anyway. So if something like that happened, I probably would do it more.
Mhm.
And I would try my best to see what's possible. I do research with people that have the bone disease or whatever they say it is, compressed. You know, I would type in, I healed myself from compacted discs. I healed myself from, and watch the thousands of results you get from people.
Mm.
And then see what's possible.
Well, I don't know if it's ironic or not, but I've actually been doing that for 30 years.
Oh,
So
you have. Wow.
that
Well,
just shows how retarded I am.
that's the right way to respond. Exactly. So if you're on your deathbed and you do all this stuff and you're going to die in the next 5 minutes, oh, well, that's how retarded I am. That's the perfect response. Yeah, me too.
I'm
Hey,
really
same thing.
retarded.
To heal my life and have a lot more emotional stability, intellectual ability, mechanical ability, responsibility, money. You know, I'm 54 years old. The game's freaking over, and I've done this stuff for 30 years. So I don't know how great I am, you know, but that's how retarded I am. Yeah. And if you do that, you never know. Tomorrow you become less retarded. And maybe it's that one, you never know, it could be 1,000 years, but it's that one time you realize that. It's that one experience where it becomes a unique realization inside of your own mind body that's going to cause the healing. I've caused healing for I don't know how many people. And I know that that's how it works. It's like you find that one thing. So forget about other people. What about for yourself, for ourselves?
Yeah, yeah.
We're consumed with other people. But really, the other person doesn't get healed unless you're authentic to yourself. So
Yeah, I'm a little, I would say aware, like sort of cautious. Not sure if it's one of the binders, but there's a string in my mind that tells me I have to do a certain thing to get to a certain place still when it comes to the healing. And I'm sensing that maybe that is part of the binding factor. It's not actually the healing factor. It's just another mind fucking binding retarded factor that's in there. Well, no, you got to stretch every day, and then you got to eat, and then it's
I
got to
would
take.
never think that way.
Yeah,
I would only think that I have to meditate and then I would stretch and eat properly. But I would not prioritize stretching and eating over your ability to fall in love and become happy and have a
the
soulgasm.
transmission.
The transmission. The
That
transmission
is priority. I write that down. Transmission is the top.
with no gaining idea. You're not doing it to heal your body. You're doing it because God or somebody has said you can do this if you want. You know, it's like
Basically, the goal is simply to receive the transmission. I don't have to put anything above
tell
that.
the truth that you're dependent on it. You cannot think of an outcome. If you think of an outcome, then you're stopping the process. It's a very bad idea to think of an outcome.
That's that
So
same
in,
little.
in the process of feeling the pain of your body, you now say, oh, gosh, I want to feel better. Okay, how do you do that? Let the sun shine in, go into the field. I don't know what. Get the transmission ultimately. And now, okay, you feel better. So your intuitive relationship with life is become more real and more healed because you're a participant with the environment of life around you, and masters teach you and nature helps you and all these things. And you forget about your own healing, and then you get healed, I think, as a root. But if you use that as a formula, then you still won't get healed. The
That
only
makes
hope is to
sense.
abandon your future,
That makes
forsake
sense
your future.
because that's like the treadmill. I can feel it. 20 years of that same treadmill combined with what you're talking about, how, well, you not really a student, you get a little bit out of somebody and then you move on, you get a little bit. So I've actually got a bunch of little stuff, but no foundation has ever been applied. So I haven't gone anywhere.
Do something to get something, you'll never get anywhere. Now, unfortunately for the general public, I have to change my mind now and not talk to them anymore. I try to talk to the general public as well as when I'm talking to people, but when a person's healing's online, I'm not going to pull any punches anymore. And I'm going to say things that the general public can't possibly understand. That's not my fault. They need to go away. But just for you, you have to have no gaining idea. If you only can have no gaining idea right now, you become happy. when you become happy, all your problems are solved as far as you know what a problem is. That's no gaining idea. And you can't do anything to get something. If you do something to get something, that's not really doing something properly. You do it because you do it, and you give up gaining idea because you have everything. You're so blessed it's beyond imagination, and you're not recognizing how blessed you are. And if you would recognize it, you could relax. If you relax, what happens to your sinews and tendons and everything?
Yeah.
But
Body can heal.
well, once again, you can't think of it though. That's the problem.
Yeah, yeah.
I just pointed out there to kind of say
Yeah.
a commercial, but actually you can't say that because the more that you think that way, it's hard to not give you a piece of cheese though. I want to
Yeah.
give you a cheese so that you have a desire to do just the transmission. So I say these things, but actually that's kind of a dangerous area. I don't know how
Well,
right.
I don't know that I think you've inadvertently given me the cheese. Is the only thing I could say is because I'm retarded, I can't really correlate it into words. Just to say that the transmission is giving me the desire to have the transmission. That's the best way I can put it.
Yes. Yeah, you have to remember that you're the master, not the person you're learning from. You're the teacher, you're the master, you're the only hope, stuff like that. You have such immaculate presence, so this thing of I have to be Jesus, you got that, and then you just destroy yourself because you can't be Jesus. No, let everybody else get destroyed if they have to. You be busy healing yourself selfishly,
Okay,
independent.
so it's okay to be selfish in a sense in that matter.
100% selfish. Otherwise, you can't be any good for Sophie, Opie.
Because my mind's like, oh, you're being selfish, and then I criticize myself. I get stuck in that cycle again.
You just have to strategize it so nobody knows. If you can't do it that way and you have to do it where people know, then you're in trouble.
Got it.
You have to do it where nobody knows, and when you're in front of them, you're all giving and everything and complacent. But as soon as you go away, you forget about everyone and you go into a journey of no return. Field of dreams, walk off. Never see anybody again.
So that to me, it sounds like is going back to your discipline and practice of being the foundation. So it's really everything else becomes secondary.
Has to be. If not, you have no hope at all. There's no hope for healing. There's no hope for good relationship. There's no hope for enough money to eat. There's just no hope for anything unless you turn your back on people, the world, everyone and everything, and relax. Go lay on the beach. Everybody can fuck off. And whether you're wrong or right in that, I don't even care. That's got nothing to do with it. It's a principle that you have to obey. So you obey it non-cognitively, you don't think about it, and you do it. Why? Because the teacher said so. That's why. The real teachers and gurus and everything. You turn your back on the world, on everyone and every relationship, on every family and everything, and you go and sit by the pool and relax. If you can do that, if you can let go of everyone and be 100% selfish, like the car needs fuel, then when you get up off that lounge chair, come back from that beach, you're a magic person. Of course you want to give to her and him and be a friend and be good. But you can't think of that part of how you're going to heal the body or how you're going to heal somebody's life or whatever. You have to abandon, you have to forsake your future. You have to forsake every relationship and your future. You have to forsake all hope. You have to burn the bridges. You have to burn the ships. Great thing in this book, it's a true story. This army came, I don't know the numbers, but let's say there's 200 people in the boats. And then the army that they're fighting on the island, there was like 1,000 people. And so they landed the boat and the captain said, burn the ships. So they have no way to get off the island. And they did. They burned the ships. And of course they won, right? Not of course, but they won
That's
against.
good motivation.
Yeah. No choice. Well, that's how important it is for you to be happy today, for you to let go of your troubles, for you to understand that all the people's voices in your life they're all saying something, and you can listen a little better. And when you do that, you will eclipse them. you'll go beyond them because you process faster and more. So then when you come back to them, you have an angle, you have an edge. You want to knock them out or you want to heal them? Which one you want to do? You can do both. But the knockout thing is a little different, right? You want to, if you have to set a boundary, you don't want to let anybody know. You want to always be invisible. You shouldn't set a boundary or fight and be known with it. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants the expression of power. They only want to be powerful. So you want to go beyond negative, neutral, and positive into a place where form is pre-processed. Personalities are pre-processed. So you understand who mother, brother, sister, father is. Who Opie, this one, this one, this and that one. You understand that because you're seated here. When you're seated here, the entire experience of Opie selling those things, and I think we're going to get her to sell that on the other islands. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I just told her the other day, I'm like, make 30 things, put them on the plane, have her go to the place, drop them off, see if they like it, like, so the same thing with her going and selling today. You already can be supportive because it's here. So if that's part of your life, you have to be part of it. If your neighbors are part of your life, do you ever get quiet enough to know them here where you are and understand what a proper boundary is and how that's invisible underneath your feet, maintained, and how the offering of the win-win is always there? Because that's the only way that you can really be tough in life and be good at setting boundaries, and is to offer the win-win all the time with no gaining idea. So how does that function with all those people that are here, all the people in your life? If you get the darshan, then you have your inner eye open, and now you can see all of this, and you can help all kinds of people without even knowing anything. But you have to get quiet enough because we're so lost in the disease and trying to fix it, and whether we're right or wrong and all, that we don't ever become fully embraced by life. And just be with it. Now, if every sage and saint has a lot of quiet time and downtime, then I think we should too. I get it on. Let's put on I'm a G E E E. Oh, you never did this one yet. Guy, you two monks. Talk about grounding. There's grounding. Write down Gyoto monks. Gyuto. Gyoto monks. Okay. Now, one of the things that happens during the transmission is that you reach the bones to soak the bones. Please write that down. There's different levels of the transmission. The first is on the surface of the skin and the tendons and the air and the room. And as you go deeper, the body becomes heavier on the exhale. And you start to feel your own neurology. And you should be able to feel your bones. If you can really feel your bones, then you have this bone marrowing experience where you know that your bones are soaking up power and it's creating stronger marrow. What does that mean to you? Anything? Like, is there any tangible? Most people, I would guess, if you say that, there's no tangible reference point that they have to what that means. But
it's creating, influencing the life force energy that creates the cells in the body.
Okay.
That a lot of the cells are made, I believe it's a white blood cells, I'm not exactly sure, but are made in the bone marrow itself.
I think the blood in general is made in the bone marrow.
Yeah, so it's like the manufacture of the rejuvenating process of the body.
Okay.
It rejuvenates itself, it changes. The body is not the same exact flesh 7 years from now, whatever the theory is.
Right.
It's constantly changing. So I can feel, like I felt it go into my bones. Specifically, it was resonating in the end with my big body of my spine.
Good.
It was vibrating the vertebrae.
Yes.
And of course, I was aware of my brain wanting to go, wait a minute, but go to my neck, so.
Right. No, spine and brain. Only worry about spine and brain.
Yeah. So, the bone marrowing is beautiful. And when you talk about the sort of the neuroplasticity or the changing the brain chemistry, that is a beautiful thing. That in itself, to me, it resonates with me. I have a little, studies and all this off and on retardedness, neuroplasticity.
You love the retarded word now.
Yeah, I do. Because I really understand now how retarded I am.
No offense to people with real, we're not.
Yeah. But, it's just funny how you can, literally the universe gives you a discipline, something to do about whatever, I'm complaining about. And yet it's so difficult to do something that the universe wants me to do for whatever reason, because I really feel like it's the universe that wants me to do this. It's that transmission that wants me. It's that voice is like, whoa, like there's something powerful. That was a very powerful, resonating voice,
So you put that on your my favorites. That's one of the ways you can get the transmission. When you get bored with the Tai Chi or whatever, you've got this one. When you get bored with the meditation 3 steps, you could put the Gayatri monk on and just do whatever. If you thread your life with more of whatever works for you as an individual, then you can really change neurology. You can have measurable transformation in your hormonal combinations. And that's what we're working for, because what is metered and measured is managed. If you don't say 10, you don't say 5, you don't take instruction for how the Scribbles map works and how my favorite, and keep with no end in sight. I don't know how the Scribbles map works. I don't know how my favorites work, but keep on starting over from scratch, being totally wrong with no end in sight. If you get that going on, now you can start to measure and manage real change in your life. And, sometimes maybe it moves in cycles of 100 years. I don't know. I've given up on steady progress without interruption. It doesn't really work that way. It moves them back and forth. 2 steps, 3 steps forward, 2 steps back. So if you can see that that's what's going on because you've become so immersed in 10 seconds and 5 minutes in the Scribbles and the Gayatri monks now and then, or whatever you like, and it becomes an inner project, because the most important project in your life is you. If that becomes your project and not saying something right or doing something right or making money or sexing right or whatever, but you become your project, then you can feel comfortable about knowing what eternity is about. You can understand that you actually are on the right track. You might get off and stuff like that, but you've got a train track that's ingrained into my favorites list in the Scribbles map. No human being in all the world can do better than the my favorites list in the Scribbles map. It's impossible. But, you know, a lot of people say, no, just relax and be one with God. You don't need a teacher. You don't need to change. That's all silliness. So you've got to ingrain the process in the relative, and that's your my favorites and Scribbles, your supports and your needs, and do it better. And now and then you can go ahead and measure up. What did I look like 10 years ago? And did you make some progress, at least in how you feel? You know, that's what I mean when I say look like. What's your behavior, your thoughts, you know? You look back 20 years, look back 30 years. You doing better? Something is solid better? Can you find one thing that you improved? Yeah. All right, so you're encouraged, you start over again, being totally wrong, total tardo, step one. I have no idea what I'm doing. And let the world dismiss you because you say that. Because as soon as you do that, everybody else goes, see? And they can run along because they're not going anywhere but to terrible futures. So you don't want to have more hell. You've had enough hell, had enough pain. And you want to find a way to become coherent, because coherence is the luck factor in life. And you can have a moment that ripples through your neurology. And that's really it. I don't have a solution. I only have principles and possibilities, ideas. And it's not complete. It's not a project that is functional against a pointing finger. So I don't have anything to say to the naysayers of the world. But in conclusion, I can say that you'll never find more extraordinary people than in the world of the mystical, genuine mystical. And you need an interpreter to explain to you what the heck that means, because the human being doesn't have any context. That just means net world or something like that. But it really exists. And just logically, your life, the quality of your life is determined by the quality of the moments you're experiencing. So why not thread your life with at least the attempt to cause a moment that produces relief, and try to build on that.
Thank you. That makes sense. I just from that meditation, there's a space in my whole spine. I can feel my spine, first of all. I can feel like the muscles on my spine. Like I can feel a column of bone here. And
good. Write that down. I can write down, I can feel the column of bone. So you don't forget that you can get back to that again somehow by taking a whole day. I don't know what. I just try and always fail. And every 20, 30 years or so, there seems to be some fresh insight that helps. So that can help you to remember about this feeling, this moment.
And repeat it. Start over from scratch. Repeat it. Start over from scratch.
Terrible failure. Yep. I will put this up on the YouTube. You can see it when you need to, and we shall reconvene. Same bat time, same bat channel. Are you old? You're old enough for that. Remember, same bat time, same bat channel.
Yeah, just when I was a little kid, I believe. I'm not sure what show that was. Was that like
a little after? It's my generation exactly when that was on. Well, you were pretty much my generation.
Yeah, pretty much just black and white. You had to turn the channel with your finger. Yeah, TV.
Yeah, way back when they would say at the end of the Batman show, "See you next time, same bat time." Same
That's right. It was actually the Batman show. That's right. Yeah. Boom. Pow.
So I hope that you can extricate yourself from the sea of psychic magnetism and just keep calming down. Opie's doing the action stuff now. You don't have to do anything. Just keep calming down. And questions, comments before we go?
Just thank you, and I'm full of gratitude. And it's weird. This little voice said the goal is no goal, but then that's a goal. So it's funny.
Oh, that's funny. The goal is no goal, but that's a goal. Now that's That's an enlightened statement if I ever heard it. Please write me a paper on that. Title it "Goal is no goal, but that's a goal," and send it to me when you can.
Are
See you
you
next
being
week.
serious? I hope not.
Yeah, I am serious.
Are you really?
Yeah, that's the only way it works. I give you something to do because you can't. How are you going to get the transmission unless you follow the thing? So
Uh,
sorry, but yeah, just like one side of a paper. The goal is no goal, but that's a goal. So
I should have
one
kept my
side of
mouth
a
shut.
paper.
No.
I know you should have because that's like impossible to write. But I'm game. I love it, and you'll be totally occupied when you do it, and then maybe you never know some
All
healing.
right. Yeah. Maybe the universe said you better spit that out now because you got to let this crap out. Here we
Can't wait. I'm gonna love
go.
it. Okay.
Thanks again. See you next
My
week.
pleasure. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Aloha.
Aloha.